The only wall that was square was the wall with the doors. Um, so anyhow, it's very funny to be here right now and have no walls or roof.
Hold up. How the heck did we get here? This is a question I've been asking myself for months now. For me to better explain it, we have to go way back to when we first started this project. Summer 2021, I lost one of my dearest friends, Daniel. Daniel was founder and owner of Automotive Aesthetic Detailing Studio. He left behind the business and his two detailers, Brian and Steven. Ultimately, the three of us decided to keep his legacy alive and keep automotive aesthetic in business. We realized pretty quick we wouldn't be able to afford to operate out of a tiny garage, so I started putting a plan together to build a bigger shop to work out of. Once I had an idea of how big it would be, I got the permits in order and started clearing land. Tree by tree, load by load, it took a couple months to clear out the spot between everything else I had going on. Now once it was cleared, our first big hurdle arose. The county had approved the build site without looking at the septic plans, and ultimately I found the septic field while doing some digging. Before any damage was done, we had to halt and pick another suitable site. We talked to the right people, got our permits again, and land clearing began for the second time. More trees, more dirt, more work, more sore bodies. The second time was much smoother with the knowledge and confidence I gained from clearing land from the other site. Many hours, many days, lots of sawdust, lots of laundry. Once the new site was cleared, it was ready for dirt work. I hired a company to do the leveling, site prep, footers, and block. That was the best money I would end up spending on this project. Everything started to ramp up once we had heavy equipment there leveling the land for the foundation. The building would be 30 by 60 and we needed 5 extra feet leveled around that footprint. It's amazing how uneven land can be even when it looks level. We removed literal tons of soil. The rebar is on 18-inch centers, which should provide excellent strength for the vehicle traffic. We then poured the 5-inch slab and let that cure for a few weeks. It was now time for the metal building crew to do their thing. I had put a deposit down for the metal building many months prior, so it was nice to finally get that going. This is where everything went downhill pretty quick. It became apparent the metal building crew really didn't know what they were doing. They didn't show much care for what they were doing, and honestly, I could have done a better job myself after a couple wobbly caps. The biggest issue for me is that work and life had gotten quite hectic, and I wasn't able to monitor the situation very closely once the metal shop began to be built. Every day they decided to show up, I simply wasn't around to inspect or check in on it as close as I would have wanted. It wasn't until they were, quote, complete that I was able to come take a really good look. Holes everywhere, misaligned panels, gaps around the entirety of the structure, bends, creases, places without anchors, places with too many anchors, not centered screws, bent trim, trim gaps, screws just everywhere, and the list goes on. It was painful just trying to get them to fix it, and even then, it was haphazardly done, and I was just left feeling depressed and wanting to give up on the whole thing. I showed you guys, my YouTube community, what had been happening, and I got a lot of good feedback and support, so it gave me enough gas to keep fighting for a good building. It even got to the point where I talked to lawyers to see if I had any options. The problem is I signed something, I had also paid, so I was feeling, like someone had ripped out my stomach. It was hard. When I finally had energy and some courage back, I made my way onto the roof, quickly realizing the roof was even worse than the rest of the building. Not only was it already leaking, but every single panel was bent, had multiple screws in multiple places. It was just so sad to see. I couldn't believe my eyes. I wanted to give up yet again, but I showed you all, and you guys once again gave me the energy to keep my chin up and fight for this building. Wow, was this ever difficult. So, with my final breath of fight, I used the power that the good Lord gave me and commanded a new building. And boy, oh boy, did God come through. After one of the most painful contractor and life chapters I have ever experienced, they agreed to send a new crew over to take a look. Once the new crew saw what my building looked like, they immediately started removing panels and informed me the entire structure needed to be replaced. So, here we are.
A miracle happened. We had what I would call a very concentrated hurricane and ripped apart most of the building. So now we have no roof, no walls, and maybe this is a good thing because we can restart. I'm just kidding. The internet has spoken, and I didn't give up. You guys encouraged me, and ultimately, we are getting a brand new building. Turns out, obviously, no surprise there, the entire structure was completely out of square by a lot. And so now, well, we're back down to the framing. They're straightening it all up and putting new panels. So what happened was we got a better crew, more experienced crew out to site. And as you can see, they got all these straps here because they've been straightening it up. The only wall that was square was the wall with the doors. It's very funny to be here right now and have no walls or roof. But you know what? It's going to turn out because the crew that has been here doing the replacement have obviously, they clearly have a little bit more experience. The first day they came up, they just fixed a bunch of trim and stuff. And I just wanted to give you an update because this is pretty significant. Look, they ripped all the framing off both end walls. I didn't even notice till right this second. Crazy. So anyhow, this is crazy that it's gotten to this point, but hey, I'll take it as it comes, I guess. Fortune favors the patient, maybe? I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I've been trying to keep you guys posted as it's happened, and this is just, you can't make it up. I can't help but laugh. I think laughing is a very healthy thing to do, you know? Humans love to laugh. You know I love to laugh. Although this is, hard to laugh at or with sometimes. If you can find a way to do it, I think you're going to be better off for it. Obviously, this has been a big challenge, and I feel like we're almost over. We're almost through it. And the biggest curveballs that ultimately came from this, it got too cold to do insulation, like spray foam. I wanted to spray foam the roof. And, with things not square and stuff, like I just basically had to halt on everything because I don't want to put electric or, like I said, insulation or interior walls. Without the building actually being square and somewhat at a stage where we can move forward. A silver lining, I don't know if it's a silver lining, but we get to keep all the old metal panels, even though the holes in them are probably slightly off square. We could use them for walls on the interior, because technically we have all the interior walls worth of metal, except for this front wall, but that saved me a couple grand probably, even if there's weird holes in them. I mean, it's something we could use for now. It's been quite the adventure. It's been a difficult one for sure. But now that I'm a father of two, there's bigger fish to fry. Because there's not a whole lot going on in this little update video, I want to do something fun for you guys. Christmas is around the corner. So if you go to my Squarespace website, www.woodnessgoodness.com, I'm going to put some discounts for the 3 shirts that I make. They're all Stonewash shirts. They're the comfiest shirts you'll ever wear. I'm including free stickers in all orders, late Christmas from Dr. Woodness. And yeah, it's weird standing in this building that's done, no roof, no walls. Anyhow, this is very difficult to say the least. Love you all. Merry Christmas. We'll see you later. This way, good job. This way, keep coming.